It's good to be Chris Christie. Christie's at the top of every news show's guest list. His every move from his public appearances to his weight loss surgery make headlines. And of course, no one on TV can even mention 2016 without his name coming up. Even the polls making Christie smile. 69% job approval. That is fourth highest of any governor in the country. And he seems like a mortal lock to win re-election this November, up more than 32 points over Democratic challenger Barbara Buono in the latest RCP poll average. And get this, Christie has even managed to pull off something practically impossible to do these days. He's actually more popular among national Democrats than he is among national Republicans. And he's also the only potential presidential candidate in either party with favorables above 50% in both groups. And this may seem like the most obvious question that I'm going to ask all night, but it's his personality, right? It's his style.
Well, it is his personality, but the viewers don't really know his personality, because part of his personality is Rambo, up in your face, I'm ready to fight you. But they keep that Chris Christie, I call it AKA Rudy Giuliani, they keep that part back. When he's on the late night television shows, slow jamming the news, that's the term.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You saw that last week on the show.
Right. Well, okay, but substance is taking a back seat for personality. And Chris Christie is winning right now the personality battle. That's why he's popular with Democrats, because many of his recent initiatives sound like he's a Democrat.
Well, no, not because that's because he hugged Obama.
That's true
and
too.
one hug went a long way on that,
That's
especially
true.
if you live
And
in California or Oregon. You don't have to listen to him up close. If he has a virtue, it's that he appears to be authentic. And people are very willing to forgive a lot of things if they think you really believe it. They miss the mean-spiritedness. But look, in fairness to him, to some degree, he is authentic. That big bully on his bad days is really him, and that sort of guy willing to step across the divide on his good days is really him. Authenticity is what is bringing him to
And
the
don't
table.
forget, when he ran, he was not the, using your terminology, the bully. I would just say outspoken and fighting for what he believes in. And it's leadership, whatever you want to classify it as. And after he got elected, he did that for a couple of years, and people saw that side of him, and they liked it. His numbers weren't going down at that point. And I think the Obama issue you're talking about, with spending time, he was helping people to shore. It helped the Democrats and Republicans after Sandy. That was more leadership. All of this goes together and says they liked him before. They like him more now. What's there not to like about him right now?
I'll tell you what might not be to like. First of all, seventh highest unemployment rate in the country, but also check out these polls that came out this week from Rutgers Eagleton poll. 77% of New Jersey voters say they want to raise the state's minimum wage. Christie opposes that. 59% say they support same-sex marriage. Christie doesn't. 66% want same-sex marriage on the ballot this fall, and it's not. And it's not in part because of state Democrats, but also because Christie has absolutely made no effort to get it on the ballot this far. Richard, I'm curious, why is he so personally, affable? Is he so authentic
Campaigns
that they'll
have their
overlook?
own rhythm. And at this point in the campaign, people are sizing up the people. They'll come to issues in October, and there Christie is repeatedly vulnerable. So what he's going to try to do is inoculate himself against his right-wing, Tea Party crazy agenda, guns, vetoing election law reform, same-sex marriage, abortion, and talk about his rough charm. In the end, I think you'll see this race get much wider.
Richard, I think first off, I can't agree with you on any of those points. You're glad to hear that for a change, right?
He's not going to win by 33 points.
No one's going to win by 33 points. He's going to win decisively. You can't beat somebody with nobody, and right now the Democrats have nobody. She raised taxes over 100 times, not mistaken, as the ad's been saying that they're spending money on right now and taking shots at her. I mean, under Corzine, she led his fight for spending money in New Jersey at this point, which is one. Yeah, of course, but that's what the issues are about. And don't forget, you bring up specific issues here. As Mayor Koch said, if you support me 8 out of 12 times, vote for me. If you support me 12 out of 12 times, see us shrink. So in that case, when you look at what Christie's talking about, they like his leadership. They like him on enough issues, so they disagree on a few. You're never going to agree with everybody 100% of the time.
I don't know if they like him on his leadership. They like the fact that he's up in your face until it's them.
That he's Tony Soprano.
No, it's not necessarily leadership.
Sometimes
in some
it's
cases,
called assault and battery.
Right. In some cases, it's being a bully, and he doesn't even own that. Again, We've seen this, done this in terms of Rudy Giuliani. The entire episode, cherry picking Democrats to say that they support you one by one. Rudy Giuliani did this against Ruth Messenger. We've seen this, done that. It's just 2013, and Chris Christie is just on every network television show, slow jamming the news. And that's working for him right now, but the gap is going to close because eventually voters are going to focus on the facts of the state. That's why he didn't want to run against Cory Booker, because Cory Booker was too much of a threat, period.
Bottom line is he's going to get nearly 60% in this race, which gives him nearly a 20% margin.
What happens?
It's
What
not
happens in the
30%.
presidential race? What happens in the presidential race?
More popular with Democrats than Republicans.
Well, what
which part
happens,
of the-
what
which
happens
part?
when he's got to go to the far right?
Andrew
He
Cuomo
doesn't-
had these numbers 6 months ago, and he's down in the mid-50s.
Sure.
Same thing's going to happen to Chris Christie.
Well, but
Christie's been in office longer.
Christie's been. I was going to say Christie's a year ahead of him right now. Christie's.
This doesn't mean they walk in lockstep. It means that the dynamic, when you're riding the wave, sooner or later the wave crashes. Christie
But in
is
this
the favorite
election
to
year-
win, but not the
The
favorite to win by
difference,
20
though, don't forget,
points.
is it's Andrew Cuomo for favorability, not Andrew Cuomo versus somebody else running for governor. Right now, you actually have Christie versus a specific individual, and he's ahead by 32 points.
Is
That's
it-
a
but-
different scenario.
But is it a fair fight right now? This race that Christie's in, is it a fair battle?
When you say fair, I mean,
He's
it's
got
not
every
Democrats
advantage.
nominated.
I thought this was
No.
politics.
But I mean, but if you're Barbara Buono, he's got every advantage working towards
Sure.
him. Democrats are afraid to go against him, so
Right.
they're lining up with Christie.
They also back a winner, not just
Christie,
afraid, but
yeah,
they back a
and
winner.
folks like
Slow
the
down,
back,
slow
and
down.
folks like the back a
It's
winner.
June.
It
This
is
race will
June.
get ripe in September and October.
Let me try to balance this out. If Barbara Buono wants to come on this program and slow jam the news here, we'll have her anytime she wants. Want to read a quick tweet we
Can
just
I be
got?
on the set for that one?
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to read you a quick tweet we just got from one of our viewers. Josh Barrow wrote in, conservatives trust him not to waste money and moderates trust him not to break the government. We want to thank you and everybody else who tweeted as we discussed this in this segment. We're going to take a quick break here on RFL. In the meantime, don't forget to tweet us. Why do you think Christie is so popular? And up next, more Christie. Is the bromance over? Christie slammed Obama on national television today. Those walks down the shore, apparently a thing of the past. No more handshakes or hugs. We're going to get into that next. Stay with us.